Hello, welcome to Nicole's Tips. This week, I'll give you my tips for Vasisthasana or side plank. Tip number 1 is build a strong foundation. Tip number 2 is find a strong plank. Tip number 3 is stabilize the shoulders. So we'll start off with the foundation of Vasisthasana, which is the hands. Well, specifically one hand, but we'll take both hands together and then translate it into the position of one hand on the floor for side plank. So come to hands and knees. And on hands and knees, first thing you want to do is arrange your hands skillfully on the floor. The best position to have your hands in is with the index fingers pointing straight forward. And you can even turn them out a little bit further, but we want to make sure that we don't turn the fingers in. This is the most stable position for your wrists when you're weight bearing on your hands. So point your index fingers straight forward so that they're parallel to the long edges of your mat. And spread your other fingers out nice and wide. Make sure that your hands are about shoulder width distance apart. Your wrists directly underneath your shoulders. So, next piece, I want to activate and power up this placement of the hands on the floor. So, press down through your fingertips into your mat. It should feel kind of like you're releasing claws or gripping down into the floor. This can be described as the feeling of trying to palm a basketball. It should feel kind of suction cuppy. A lift through the middle of your palm and a lift and engagement up through the muscles of your forearms. And then release it, lengthen out through your fingers again. We'll do that one more time. So just checking to make sure that index fingers are still pointing forward and your other fingers are spread wide. Now press down through your fingertips, feeling the engagement of the muscles in your forearms and even in your hands themselves. Feeling that kind of suction cup action, light lift, and then release and relax your fingers. So building a strong foundation with the hands. And now we'll move into finding plank position, finding a strong plank. Plank itself, just like a wooden board or like a wooden plank, needs to be aligned. It needs to be in a straight line. So the aim here is to come into that position, but make sure that especially your hips aren't too high or too low. So I invite us to, again, to come to hands and knees. Placing your hands the way that we just found in building a strong foundation. We want to find that strong foundation again with the hands. And then step one foot back at a time. And coming into plank position. This can be kind of helpful to have a mirror or to have a camera that you're looking at. And part of what we don't want to happen is, and I'm going to show what we don't want to do, is the hips coming too low, kind of sagging down, or the buttocks pointing up too high. I want it right in the middle. And how you can start to find this is this sensation of lengthening the tailbone back toward the heels. And you should feel a lot of engagement and lift, especially through the lower abdomen, and close to your pubic bones. Knit your ribcage in and up, find engagement through your core. And with that strong position now, stretch back through both heels, stretch forward through the crown of your head. So lengthening through your body and holding this position. Good. Remembering to press your fingertips into the floor, keeping the strong foundation. And then lower your knees down. Take a little rest. Rest your wrists, maybe even roll them a few times in one direction, and then switching directions. Okay, so we have built a strong foundation with the hands. We have found a strong plank position. Tip number 3 is stabilizing the shoulders. This is a really important piece, especially because you're bringing all of your weight onto one arm. in order to stabilize the shoulders. What you need to think about is really stabilizing and engaging the muscles that surround the shoulder blades on your back. So just so we can find the shoulder blades, you'll take one hand underneath the armpit on the other side and then just feel this kind of plate-like bone on your upper back. So that is one shoulder blade, and your scapula is the anatomical name for it. And then you can go to the other side, finding your other shoulder blade. Now that we've found the shoulder blades, what do you do with them? How do you engage around them to stabilize? What needs to happen is this feeling of drawing the shoulder blades down the back. So hugging down the back. And also keeping the shoulder blades really secure on the back by doing something up here too with the front of the rib cage and with the core muscle engagement. So what we'll do is stretch the arms up over your head, make a light fist with your hands, and then like you're doing a pull-up, you'll pull down, sliding your shoulder blades down your back. And what you should feel is some engagement between your shoulder blades on your upper back. If that's happening, great. You should also feel some engagement beneath your armpits, kind of down here. These muscles are your best friends for stabilizing the shoulders. Now, the tendency, again, I'm going to exaggerate here, what you don't want to do, you might feel a lot of stability, a lot of engagement through your upper back, but then if the rib cage is jutting forward this way, it's actually not going to be helpful for stabilizing the shoulders ultimately. We need to think of bringing the back and filling out the back to bring them closer to the shoulder blades. So from here, knit your ribcage in and back. And think of filling and making your upper back spacious between your shoulder blades. So we're hugging down, but we're not letting the ribcage jut forward. This is going to be super key. And then stretch your arms up. Inhale. Whew. And do that one more time. Make a light fist with your hands. Come down like you're coming into a pull-up, and also knit your rib cage in and back. Really feeling all of the muscles on your upper back engage around those triangular plate-like bones called your shoulder blades. And then lower your arms down. I don't know about you, but I definitely felt something there, and that's good. So, in order to put these pieces together, what we want to do is start in plank and then turn open into side plank. So we can set up the foundation of the hands, find a strong plank, find that alignment, and then the goal for Vasisthasana side plank is to simply tip it on the side. We want a 90-degree angle between the arms, the bottom arm, and the body, which I'll show you how to get to that place. It's not as easy as one would think. You don't just tip it open. You have to make a slight adjustment. So start by coming onto hands and knees. Build a strong foundation with your hands, aligning them well and pressing down through fingertips. Step back and find a strong plank position, lengthening your tailbone towards your heels and drawing your belly button towards your spine, finding strength. Now, bring your feet and legs all the way together to touch. Okay, as we want to bring them together to touch as we turn open into side plank. To begin to stabilize the shoulders, slide your shoulder blades down your back, even here in regular plank. We'll start with the right hand down in side plank, and before you turn open, walk your feet back a little bit so that your wrists are slightly in front of your shoulders. You should feel like you're pressing down and forward through your hands. This ensures that when you turn open, you have that 90-degree angle between the arm and through the body, the torso. With your right hand down, spin to the outer edge of your right foot, stack your left foot on top, and keep on pressing down and forward with your right hand. Stretch your left arm up. Okay, slide your right shoulder blade down your back. Really, really, really strongly. Kind of like the pull-ups that we were doing. Knit your ribcage in and back. Keep on lengthening your tailbone towards your heels. You want to keep that side plank position. then maybe even look up. And then slowly come back to plank. And we'll take a little break, lower your knees down, come to child's pose. We'll do the second side as well. Okay. And you can stay in the direction that you're facing. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. On hands and knees, we'll set up again. Place your hands well. Press down through your fingertips. And then build the foundation of the hands. Step back into plank. Find a strong plank. Lengthen your tailbones down. Tailbone down towards your heels. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Bring your feet and legs all the way together. And from here, hey, walk your feet or wiggle your feet back just a little bit until you're pressing slightly forward with your hands. This will ensure that you have that 90-degree angle between the bottom arm and the torso. From here, keep pressing down with your left hand. Spin to the outer edge of your left foot and stack your right foot on top. Pressing down and toward the front edge of your mat as you turn open and reach your right arm up this time. Okay, remember to keep pressing down through fingertips, the bottom hand. Slide your left shoulder blade down your back, or just like the pull-ups, we want that engagement around that shoulder blade. Keep on knitting your rib cage in and back. Notice if the buttocks want to dip back, lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, and then, if possible, even look up toward your right hand. And slowly come back to plank. Lower your knees, come into child's pose. And sit up as you're ready. So those are my 3 tips for Vasisthasana, side plank. And I hope they help. Thanks for practicing with me.